Hey, Pagan Perspective. Let's talk about finding other pagans. My fellow substitute hosts have already done a fantastic job talking about other resources and their thoughts about finding other pagans and their experience with Witchvox and stuff like that. So I wanted to branch out a little from the internet and start talking about some of the other tactics that somebody can use to start finding pagans in their local area. I think the internet is a great resource, but I think it's only the beginning. So many pagan groups of different practices just don't use the internet to advertise their presence or open meetings and stuff like that. Sometimes that's because they don't typically have open rituals or open meetings, and sometimes it's because they don't necessarily want to grow in a rapid way, and they grow by word of mouth from other members or by running into folks at local events, local community events. So I'd say always stay attentive and don't be afraid to engage somebody if you maybe see a pagan symbol that they're wearing or overhear some pagan terminology. It can be really awkward, of course, to engage in that, but at the very least, you'll probably have an interesting conversation. And at best, maybe you have gained access to a new network of pagans in your area that you wouldn't have been able to find out any other way. Speaking of network, there are a lot of ways I think the internet could be really useful in expanding your own network and potentially even finding some pagans near you. If you have a particular affinity for a certain pagan author or a pagan blogger, maybe if they have a public contact information, reach out and just introduce yourself and maybe say a little bit about why you liked their book or their work and ask if they happen to know anybody that lives around you or near you. At the very worst, they'll say no, but maybe they'll be able to connect you to some folks that they know in your area. I suppose the underlying message of what I'm saying is that fundamentally, in order to get involved in a group or to meet other folks around you, you really just need to talk to folks. You need to be able to articulate why you're interested and what you can offer. On the other hand, you need to advocate for yourself and be insistent on understanding what that group or teacher has to offer you and what some outcomes of your involvement may be. It could seem really simple and unnecessary to explicitly talk about it, like coming to an open ritual is pretty clear what you get out of it and what they get out of it. But if you're looking for a teacher or maybe a more regular group to attend, then conversations like that can become really important. I'll end with some less thought of places to potentially find a pagan community. Pagans might be statistically smaller in number compared to other religious groups in the United States, but pagans are a diverse group of people ranging all sorts of different socioeconomic statuses, races, cultures, professions, and more. Many pagans hide in plain sight, so look carefully, and if you feel comfortable, engage in conversations when you can. Anyway, some places where you may not think to reach out to find pagans include college campuses, even community colleges. Often they'll have at least one person, if not more, working there explicitly to work with students of faith on their campus. Sometimes it's called a campus chaplain or an interfaith support services person. Finding that information online should be fairly easy, and reaching out to them and seeing if they know of any pagans on campus or around the community that you could connect with. They'll often be very happy to do that. And I think college campuses, usually even the smallest ones, do tend to pull in some pagans, whether you think it or not. I think Renaissance festivals are always another fun one. There are almost always vendors there of some sort of pagan ilk, and they typically draw a surprising number of pagans. And again, that's a place where staying kind of aware and being comfortable with engaging folks can really help in expanding your network and getting a little sense of pagans that might be in your area or close to your area. My own tradition, Blue Star, grew a lot from Renaissance festivals when some of the elders of yesteryear traveled the Ren Fair circuit and found students and ended up finding a lot of students and teaching them long distance. And it's just a really interesting place, Renaissance festivals, and you run into all sorts of different folks. Those were just a couple, but like some of the other substitute hosts this week said, if you can't find a group or you can't find folks, it's always a good time to try to consider starting your own if that's something you're willing and able to do. Because like some of the other subs mentioned, chances are if you create it, somebody will find it and somebody will come along and want to be part of it too. With that, I wish everyone well, blessed be. Enjoy the weather wherever you are in the world, and have a good one.